Hi, I'm Liam. I'm age 24, and I'm the owner of Hype Clothing. If you don't know Hype, Hype is one of the UK's biggest clothing brands. I'd like to start this talk by starting off with the early days of my life. So as a young child, I always wanted to be in the army. Here's a picture for the girls to win their hearts. There's me in my full army uniform. When I was young, I lived, breathed, eaten, slept army. Until I realized I could die. Then I quickly went off the idea, and I got more interested into my arts, design, graphics, and photography. My friend gave me a bootleg version of Photoshop, and then I basically, from this, started my graphic design career. I was a freelance graphic designer for around 2 years from the age 14, and much to my mum and dad's, they didn't really get what that was all about. They very much believed I should have a conventional job. So I came home from college one day, and I was greeted with a job application, and that was for Co-op. If you don't know what Co-op is, it's like a supermarket. And I was like, Mum, you don't understand. I can't work here. It's not for me. I'm a freelance graphic designer. She didn't get it. My dad thought I designed pictures on the internet, whatever that means. So after ripping up this CV for Co-op, I proceeded to start my career. The first thing I did was a brand based around my love for the army. This brand was called Honor and Fortitude. All of the graphics were from archive illustrations from the war. So I put all the money that I'd earned for my freelance graphic design career because we sourced them really poorly. Our next stage is where we wanted to build it into more of a clothing brand. So we was online, we didn't really have much money at this point still, and we seen this competition where we could win 53 t-shirts. So we ended with this design of a defaced Einstein. He had ear stretchers, nose ring, a cross on his forehead, and little Wayne tears. It was definitely very out there. It ended up winning the competition, and we won the 53 t-shirts. We then flipped this into more designs and more designs. And at this point, I was currently at university, and I did what I did best, and I quit. From this, I really wanted to make the brand a success, so I wanted to try new, innovative methods. I didn't really know the clothing industry, so I sort of researched it online about the print techniques. Everyone sort of knows about screen print, it's fairly common. I found this process called sublimation. No one was really using it at that time. It was a really new method, but it was also really expensive. The money that we'd earned from selling the t-shirts from the t-shirt competition, we pumped into this design, which is actually a collab with a brand called Represent. We could only afford to print the front, so the back was white. We sold this t-shirt out online in less than 2 hours when it launched. So this was our first office. I know it doesn't look very beautiful, it's a complete mess. But bear in mind, at this time, I was about 19 years old, so we didn't really know what we was doing at all. This then led to getting our first staff member, because we was eating far too many pizzas trying to do everything ourselves. This was a really stressful time for the business because obviously we was barely paying our own wage and then we had to pay the wage for someone else. This then led to us having time to concentrate more on design, which is where we always wanted to be the forefront of our business. And we managed to design a collection of around 50 pieces. Although we did kind of get design down, we didn't really know much about styling and photo shoots. So what any 19-year-old kid does, he heads down to his local uni, picks out the first 3 people he sees, and puts a t-shirt on them. We got them to model all the clothes, and then we went out online with this. We then toured up and down the country in Bav's 0.8-litre car, so everything took 2 times the amount of time it should have, and we knocked on doors. We didn't even know what a buyer was. We just would literally Google a high street store's head office and just turn up there. So after knocking on countless doors unsuccessfully and being knocked away, we ended up in Manchester in the UK, which is in the north. And we turned up and it just looked like a, sort of like an industrial estate, just a warehouse, nothing really about it. And I turned to Bav and said, "Are you sure this is the head office?" And he was like, "Yeah, we'll just knock on, we'll show." So we got this t-shirt out of the boot, it's kind of a bit creased up, because we wasn't really a serious brand then. And we knocked on the door, a guy came in, he said, sorry, where are you from? We're like, oh, we're from Hype. And he's like, Hype? Never heard of it. And we said, well, we've got this t-shirt we want to show you. We think it's really cool. So we had this floral circle design, and he had the door open about 2 inches, like we was gonna like raid the place or something. And we just posted it through. And he was like, oh, I'll show the team. So me and Bav waited a week. We never heard anything. So we just thought, oh, another wasted trip. Lo and behold, the day after, we had a message, and they ordered 200 pieces. And these sold out over the weekend. It's the quickest they've ever sold something in store. And at this time, Foot Asylum had 30 stores. So instantly, we went from a bedroom brand to a recognizable household name overnight. The next step was top man messages on Facebook, and they said, we want to stock your brand. This is not a joke. Clearly, we thought it was a joke. So we didn't take it too seriously. But we entertained the meeting anyway. Upon this, they put us in their biggest store on Oxford Street in the UK, and it sold out again over the weekend. They'd never seen anything like it. Later, we became their biggest brand in store with over 60 concessions. We were selling out constantly. Again, we didn't run this like a big business. We just run this how we knew best. So at weekends, we was driving down to London. We was restocking the shelves ourselves. Then, ASOS approached us. Although we was doing really good business in Top Man, we didn't really want to cross the borders of ASOS because then we didn't want to lose it. But the buyer cried because she couldn't have the brand. And me and Bav with our soft hearts felt guilty and gave her what she wanted. It turned out all right in the end. Then we wanted to move into our own retail. So we got a shipping container at Box Park in Shoreditch in East London. And I did what any 19-year-old kid would do. I threw a huge party, free alcohol, and the queues were around the block. There's other brands there that are a lot bigger than ours, like Nike and Adidas, and the owners of Box Park said it's the biggest queues they've ever seen. We then moved into collabs with stores. So as we'd done really well in Tottenham, we thought we'd do a collaboration collection with them. This one was called the Black on Black collection. So previously, we was really known for all our floral prints and loud designs, and then we moved to we flipped it on its head and come out with a new direction. And again, this sold out in a few days. ASOS, following suit, did a similar collection. This sold out in a day. They then wanted restocks, of which we didn't complete. Wanting to go back to the brand's roots, we started a festival collection with Topman. This was launched at festival time, and it sold out in a few days and was worn all over the festivals in the UK. Wanted to do something else fun, we did a fast food theme collection. So all these collections was to spread the brand across the UK and get all the PR and press. Then, back at the office, in this ugly tower block, we needed to expand. We started off with one small unit, about double the size of a shipping container, and then we went to 10. So all over the different 5 floors. So it was a logistical nightmare. The end started our separate design unit. There doesn't really look much, but for us was a big step for the business. Because we wanted design to be at the forefront, we always wanted that to be the biggest part. We employed 2 new designers. This didn't really solve our problem because we had massive sourcing issues. All of our products were sourced in the UK, and there wasn't the supplier to do certain things like jackets and bags and things like that. So what we did is, we went to China. And imagine having 2 fabrics. All you could make from 2 fabrics is not a lot. Then I walk into this room full of thousands of different fabrics. I was like a kid in a sweet shop. From all this cut and sew product, we managed to make more exclusive pieces for celebrities, for the likes of Casey Neistat, Craig David, Ellie Goulding, Harry Styles, Cara Delevingne, and Kid Ink. From this, we got approached by everyone's childhood favorite, The Simpsons. So they just emailed us out of the blue. We've seen your brand about on all these celebrities, and we want to do a collaboration with you. So I do what I did best, and threw a party again at our Box Park store to launch the collaboration. Again, it sold out in a few weeks, did really well. Apart from the yellow design, it wasn't that great. We then carried on down the license route and did a collaboration with SpongeBob. So I thought I wanted to carry on the fun aesthetic of the brand. We filled the whole shop with sponges. Then, in a similar vein, we did a collaboration with the Turtles. This one was more clean, as we didn't want to just carry on doing more fun stuff. We wanted to vary the collections. Then, every girl's favorite Barbie. So we've done a lot of male stuff, so we wanted to give some stuff back to the girls in our fan base. This was an exclusive collaboration for Selfridges, which we wasn't stocked in, so this opened the door to that prestigious store in the UK. We then, moving on from Box Park, we wanted to establish our retail in a different way. We'd always done a really small shop, so we could never do anything on a large, grandeur scale. So we contacted Carnaby Street, which is the most prestigious street in the UK for a store. And we said, look, we've not got loads of money, but we want to do something with you. So they gave us a 3-week pop-up. We launched that at the start just with our branded products, and then we moved into our next collaboration, which was with Pokemon. Now, Pokemon launched at the time of Pokemon Go. So Pokemon came to our office and was saying, we've got this really exciting opportunity for you. You can collaborate with us. We're going to do this thing where people get this Pokemon Go app on their phone and catch Pokemon live. And we was like, it doesn't really sound that great. We didn't really know the scale of what it would be. But we did the collaboration anyway because Pokemon had always been something that I played when I was a kid. So again, we launched a massive party, and the queue was bigger than when the Kardashians turned up on Carnaby Street. Also, we then did a collaboration with Coke. So with Coke, this was around 3 months ago. And this is our latest collaboration. We managed to do a glass bottle with Coke, which they've never done with a UK brand before. Events have always been at the forefront of what we do. So this is Rise Festival in the Alps. This is a ski festival. Hype's not a ski brand. We just did the festival because of the music alignment. So I went to that festival, I didn't ski once in the time I was there. Shorebitch is a brand partner, which is my friends, that we launched our store with in the UK. So they're very East London focused, really, really cool people. So they do an event in Croatia, which we did the brand with. And then we've done Lovebox, Warehouse Project, and Ibiza Rocks, all of which we've done collaboration projects with too. So as you can see, collaborations is what we use to spread the brand message. So then from the collaboration we did with the nightlife stuff, we met our Taiwan partner, who opened 5 stores across Taiwan. So that was in a year period. He's looking at opening more now. And from this, the business grew. So we needed a new warehouse. This warehouse was completely run down. All the windows were smashed, all the roofs were leaking, all the floors were rotten. So we wanted to create a space that we could grow in, a space that the business could flourish. So we introduced a space where everyone could enjoy themselves, where you had arcade machines, Jaeger machines, a massive TV. The whole place was renovated. We're now at the point where we have 50 staff in the business. We have stockists worldwide. We're on track for 50 stores in China next year, 15 stores in the UK, and we're part of the Fast Track 100 Sunday Times fastest growing companies in the UK, which means all the companies that ended in the UK, we're in the top 100 quickest growing. Thank you. If there's any questions, I'll happily answer them. Evie, behind you.
I was wondering, how did you come up to start with T-shirts when you did first only lighters?
So with the T-shirts, that was from a competition. So we didn't really plan it. We just kind of stumbled upon it on Facebook. And we thought, well, we'll enter that, it's free. So that's basically it, really. And then there was never really a plan for it to be a clothing line, but I suppose that set the precedent of the roots of it. And then we kind of realized we was good at it, and that was from our previous jobs, we knew it, so it kind of just seemed a bit organic. Any other questions? Over here. Sorry, I'm a bit sweaty.
Yeah, thanks. I yesterday got some T-shirts with my girl at your booth, and I really love it that you, as the owner and creator of the brand, standing there giving out free swag, which I think is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think it speaks bounds about the approachability of you and your brand and your image that you're like building.
Yeah.
I just have a question about your stuff going on in Taiwan and China.
Yeah.
Since me and my wife, we're like involved in a lot of like marketing for the Chinese kind of like market, since I speak Chinese, I studied and stuff like that. So you said you're going to open a lot of new point of sales in China next year.
Yeah.
So are you going to do anything like WeChat marketing, Weibo marketing, working with Chinese influencers, things like that?
Yeah, so in Taiwan currently we do a lot of that stuff. So we translated over to the China market. Our partner over there deals with brands like Palace, Adidas skateboarding, people like that. So he has a really big network. So yeah, we'll be doing all that.
Yeah, so
marketing.
Hong Kong and mainland China as well, like you're just going to use the Taiwan stuff?
Yeah, so Hong Kong there's a plan for 1 store, and then mainland China there'll be 50. There's currently 5 in Taiwan.
Okay, cool stuff, man.
But it's still sort of, it's still sort of in talks, but we have a few interested parties.
Great,
that are really
interesting, thanks.
Brilliant, thank you. Any other questions?
Making me run.
Oh.
Thank you for sharing. Do you have any advices for the young fashion entrepreneurs who wants to start their own brands? What is like your top 3 things or suggestions you want to make?
I think I kind of only really have one, and I think it's not to go out and think you're going to start a brand. Just go out and do something that you love. Don't really have a massive grand plan for it. So focus on something you love, build a lifestyle around it, and then adapt it to yourself and make it something that you're like passionate of. Because then you can't really fail, because I've tried to start new brands myself. You mean my first brand didn't work. But I think it's not as easy as it looks sometimes. So I think just do something you're passionate in, and then worst case, you're still enjoying it.
How important is your team?
Really important. Like, my team's in my forefront, so especially like my design and people like that. A lot of people think I still do the design. So I don't. I have a team of about 8 people, which are all great. Have 2 videographers, 3 photographers, all the back office team, all the warehouse team. They're all extremely as important as the other. Especially back office. I think that's something people take completely for granted. They can look really flashy on the front, but then when you look at the background of it, it's non-existent. So you can have like the best looking brand, and then you're not delivering the product. So there's not any point. Over here.
Thanks. This is a good follow-up question to the team question.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the hiring process? Like, when you started off, you had your one partner, and then how did you expand from there?
Yeah, so we've done it in a really unconventional way. Everyone that works for us pretty much is friends. So most people that work on my team are people that I met at uni or went to school with me. So there's Alex there, my videographer, he went to school with me. All my graphic designers, Luke went uni with me, Farley, one of the head designers as well, he was my friend at uni's friend. I didn't even know him. And he came to me one day and he was like, oh, my friend's having a baby, can you give him a hand? And I'd seen his work at uni in the sort of print lab. I knew he was good, but he was more of an illustrator. So I was like, look, I'll give him a chance. And he started off in the packing room, actually, for a year, till he moved into design. So it's all really organic. We've never really gone out there like headhunting as such. We've more just gone with people that we feel are cool. But now we're sort of building a bit more into the company, and we're building a bit more structure. So I suppose that's going to change in the next few years as we grow. Is that okay?
I have another question that's separate
fine.
from this. What is your biggest fear as like an owner of your own brand, like on a day-to-day basis?
Not paying people's wages. That's basically it. But we are. So, yeah, that's the worst thing. I mean, when we first employed our first member of staff, I was like, we're taking £200, and now we need to pay this guy. Like, it's scary. Like, it's okay if I didn't have food on my plate, but I don't want people not having food on theirs because of me. Anyone else?
I wanted to ask, what is your most sort of pinch me moment through all of this, opening your own brand?
Although we've sort of done all these big flashy collabs with brands you've all heard of, the house name brands, I think it was when we first launched our website and people actually bought stuff. That was really, like, I suppose my first experience, I was really ready for it, and I expected people to just buy it. But then when people actually did, it was like really nice to see. Anyone? Oh, Jane.
Where do you think the future of Hype can get to? You know, how big can it be?
I truly want it to be a global brand. I mean, we're not so bothered about being super, super cool. We are quite a mass brand. So I'm not really scared of being in lots of countries and lots of places. And we will still stick true to our roots. As long as we can grow and stay true to what we are, I'd like to grow as much as we can in as many markets. Does that answer your question? Anyone else? No? Okay. Brilliant, thank you. Cheers.